Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by T-Mobile. They want to remind you to visit T-Mobile.com/acrossamerica to learn how you can get value and coverage through T-Mobile. It is the Rewind, so we have some friends that talk about it. Logan Lee Tap Bentz, your first time here, right?
Yes. Never been invited.
Never been invited to the Rewind?
No.
There's a reason for that.
There you go.
Well,
And you work in this office.
Sometimes.
Well, you know how it works, how you get invited to the Rewind? You're the last person on the show, and then they're like, hey, you want to stay around and hang out with us? Well, we are not going to talk too much basketball because the game's going to be going on while a lot of people are watching this. But big thing is, if they win, they keep their chances alive, correct?
Absolutely. And you know, again, I think two when they're in, one, they need a lot of help. And you know, Bruce Pearl, I read this morning, said he's very concerned about that second round game, no matter whom he plays.
Absolutely, and he should be. A&M is hot. Florida is hot. I think he's going to have a tough matchup no matter what. But I think A&M pulls one out today, and they beat Florida, and Auburn's up next.
Regardless, when you watch this video after the game or during, we think A&M is playing in some kind of postseason because we know how the algorithm works. All right, we had Stephen McGee on. That's Bullcrap. A lot of spring football talk on the show. That was fun to do. Trevor Werner, he's going to be out for a little bit. Schloss called us. He gave us that update out there around college basketball with Aaron Torres. We talked about all the seeds out there, and, of course, we had these two guys that break down the game that hopefully you watched and listened or whatever. It's TexAgs Rewind. What is Bullcrap, my friend?
You know me. I'm tempted to go politics right now, but I'm not. I'm going to go Calvin Ridley this week. He, of course, was injured last year, and he placed a $1,500 bet. It was only $1,500, Dave. It was not a lot of money. He does not have a gambling problem, but that's going to cost him $11 million salary this year in his suspension with the NFL. Look, for people that don't know, the NFL is very clear. In these player meetings, the PA, every year they come in, they tell guys, do not gamble on sports. You cannot do that. That is a big no-no and just a bonehead move on his part. It's hard for me to get my mind wrapped around that one. But, yeah, $1,500 to lose 11 doesn't seem like a good bet in my opinion.
You know what bothered me about it? He wasn't apologetic. It was just more like the NFL's crazy. It was barely anything. I don't have a problem. Like, just be apologetic and move on.
Exactly. 100% agree with you.
All right, my bullcrap is, and I'm going to sound like a whiny little person, it's going to be freaking 30 degrees this weekend. It's spring break. Can I get like 70? I know it's coming next week, but 30 degrees on Saturday, 34 on Friday? Like, no, it's spring break. Give me... Even the 50s sound nice, but 30, Stephen, that's ridiculous, man.
Hey, man, you know, I have been looking forward to one round of golf. I have not played golf at all this spring, and we got our one-day book. It's like a vacation day tomorrow on Friday. What's the forecast? Lows in the 30 and rainy and windy. And I'm thinking, geez, you know?
That's Schloss. Any updates on Trevor Werner when we could see him back in the lineup?
Yeah, you know, we unfortunately came back. X-rays were negative originally, but then he was still having issues, and so we got a CT scan that showed a broken hamate in his hand, which is a little bitty bone, kind of right in the middle of your palm. It's very common for a hitter, especially with his kind of power, to break that bone, and he did. So he had surgery yesterday morning. You know, I've had guys come back from it in 3 weeks, but it's normally closer to 4 or 5, could be longer. It basically boils down to, you know, pain tolerance and just getting the strength back in his hands. So certainly not the news we wanted. It's not, you know, season ending or anything like that, but it is a good, you know, a solid 3 to 4 weeks of being without him. And, you know, as a baseball player, as a hitter, you know, he was in such a great place when he hurt that oblique. So confidence-wise, playing a great third base. I think he kind of found his niche, not pitching, not playing in the middle of the field, just being a third baseman and letting those great physical tools play out. So, you know, we'll just do everything we can. He'll stand in on bullpens, and he'll stand in on pitching machine and try and get his timing, keep his timing, whatever, until he's ready to swing and get back in the lineup. So we'll just have to cover it up until he gets back.
You mentioned covering it up. How do you go about that? Is it still going to be Kaler at third base and then Targach at second for the time being until he gets close to a return?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think Ty Hodge is making some good improvements in practice. I'm searching for opportunities to kind of get him out there, but Targac, is drawing some walks. He impacts the baseball. He has some power. He's got to be more consistent. But yeah, I mean, anytime you have a injury like that, then it opens up opportunities. I mean, it gets Taylor Smith in the lineup more. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just that'll probably be what it is most of the time. But I would really like to find opportunities for Ty, and then of course Ty's got to take advantage of them. But he knows that, and I have a lot of great hope for Ty in the future of this program. I think he's if everyone will allow him to evolve as a player, he's going to be a good one for us.
A&M's got to keep winning. It doesn't matter what other teams do, but those kind of teams on the bubble do help their chances, or whatever other bubble team out there.
No, 1,000%. And I've never really crunched the numbers on if this is true, but it does kind of feel like the more you win, not only do you help your resume, you just kind of stay in the conversation where Xavier, they're done on Wednesday. They're now done. Nobody's going to be talking about Xavier. The only thing people can do is pass Xavier the other direction into the bracket, as opposed to, Xavier doing anything to help themselves. And so A&M, you win today. You're playing until Friday, 2 days after Xavier. Somehow, and I don't think somehow, because I don't think Auburn's some unbeatable team. Now all of a sudden you're playing on Saturday, and you're the talk of, late in the weekend of, oh my goodness, A&M 9 seed coming all the way from the 9 seed to now the semifinals of this bracket, where we thought the top 4 teams were set in stone in Auburn, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tennessee. So that to me, I think it's a literal edge of you're picking up wins, you're playing, you're continuing to play. But the longer Xavier's out of sight, the longer they're out of mind. The longer Wake Forest is out of sight, they're out of mind. BYU lost last weekend in their conference tournament, and now they have to sit a whole week and wait. And so I think there's the literal, it helps on paper. You pick up another win, all that good stuff. I also think it's kind of just staying in the minds of the committee into, if you were to win today, then win tomorrow, now into Saturday. You're playing on a huge stage, likely against Arkansas, maybe LSU. I think to me that plays a role in it as well. It's just the idea that you keep playing, you stay in the minds of that committee, and the committee saying all of a sudden, oh, wait a second now. Then by the way, they start looking at your resume a little closer. Oh, they were playing well at the end of the season too. Now they're playing great. I know the committee's not supposed to weigh the final few games of the season, but it's a human nature kind of element to it. So I think that continuing to win does nothing but good things. I truly believe that. It seems obvious, but I truly believe.
I saw a tweet from you that caught my attention. You always have some good tweets out there. I'm going to give you the name, Tom Crean, and I'm going to let you run with it because Georgia's been abysmal, but they've also had talent throughout the years.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't believe in the Tom Crean hire when it happened. If you look at his time in Indiana, he inherited a really tough situation, ironically from Kelvin Sampson, not far from where you guys are now. But, there was really, once you get past those first 2-3 years, there was no consistency. And so last 7-8 years at Indiana were just kind of up and down. And then, he did a year at ESPN, and the way that other people at ESPN talked about him, you would have thought he was like the second coming of John Wooden. It's like the way they were talking, like Dick Vitale, and I know he's dealing with some serious health issues and all that, but Dick Vitale, Jay Billis are talking about this guy like he's the only guy that you can hire. I do think Georgia got caught up in a little bit of that in the splashy name, the big name. He wasn't the best name. And then unfortunately for Tom Crean, the one-time transfer rule hits at the worst possible time for him, where he lost his entire team, and that's on him, right? Like the program was struggling. It was a COVID year. But then on top of that, you talk to people around college sports, is that maybe he's not an easy guy to play for. And maybe he's not I hate to say it, but a very likable guy off the floor. So now you lose your entire team. You see KD Johnson really playing well at Auburn. You see Severe Willard playing well at Kentucky, Justin Kier at Arizona. 3 players off last year's Georgia team are contributors on national championship contenders. So I don't think he was the right hire to begin with, but the one-time transfer literally hit at the worst possible time. I think that's why I suspect probably by the end of the day, he'll be officially removed as the Georgia head coach, and they'll be looking for the next head coach.
Yeah, I was looking at some numbers. In that game, obviously, they didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but in their 4-game win streak, they have shot the 3-ball 30% plus throughout.
See, I just always have confidence in the defensive side. You
Absolutely.
know, to me, it's always about how are they going to respond offensively. It just seems like even the times when they go on their little, droughts, it's all offensively. They're still working hard on defense, and the other team may score a couple of baskets, but we just can't even answer. And that's when the other team always makes the run, is when it's more self-inflicted than it is the other team's playing better a lot of times.
But I think A&M is a completely different team right now. They are more offensively acute with what they're doing. They have become focused on their top 3: Henry Coleman, Tyrese Radford, Quenton Jackson. Before that, it was a free-for-all. Whoever has the hot hand, who does have the hot hand, let's figure it out as we go, and let's try to lean on them. Now it's a get the ball into Q's hand, get the ball into Boots' hand, get the ball to Henry Coleman. They've gotten him the ball on the block with his back to the basket a couple of times.
The play was set up for that.
Exactly. And so they are utilizing their top 3 guys.
So because now I'm just going to say probably Hayden Hefner's been the biggest recipient of more minutes, with the dismissal or whatever, the leave of absence. Yes, whatever it is. Is that just made this team better because now you have 5 guys working more together, and Hefner knows I'm going to sit in the corner, I'm going to get things, but I got to, I'm the hustle guy. He's the Alex Caruso, what Alex did for the Lakers. Is that how he's getting his minutes? Is that's what helping the team?
The way that they're playing right now, it makes it easier for everybody around. If you can put the pressure on Q, Boots, and Henry Coleman, Wade Taylor benefits from that because the defense then focuses on other people, and Wade Taylor can make some open shots or get to the bucket. Hayden Hefner can make some open shots, get to the bucket, whatever it may be. So everybody benefits when you have those 3 guys that are stepping up as the leaders and taking the brunt of the offensive abilities.
I want to talk Q for a second, and we know how good he's been down the stretch, but how he's going to be remembered, his legacy has definitely, I think, changed over the last 10 days, 2 weeks, because of the way he's played. But now is the opportunity to really separate himself from others. And, finishing the season is really nice, but what you do in the postseason tells the entire story. You saw it firsthand.
Absolutely. He can, if A&M can get into the tournament this year, it's going to be not solely because of Q, but he's going to have the largest hand in that effort, and he will be remembered for that. A&M basketball fans like to think that the Aggies should make the tournament every single year. That's not where this program is at. That's not where it's been. It's not where it's at, but that's where it could become, and it could start with this year. And if it does start with this year, it starts with Q.
And that's a good point. I love the way you said it. Just over the last 10 days. I mean, 10 days ago, we're going, okay, maybe we should start looking at other people, and taking minutes away from him. And he's just stepped up. And let me tell you, I don't know him at all. I mean, he's come in and eaten breakfast a couple of times. Nicest guy in the world. It just almost shocks me. Again, maybe stereotype or whatever. You look at him, but really a nice guy comes in, and he's for the team after you get a chance to sit down and talk to him.
You don't watch the rewind from beginning to end, do you?
I only watch for the sponsorships to make sure they're correct.
All right. Are they?
Yeah.
I do a great job with that, right?
Yeah,
Just to make sure.
amazing.
Instead.
You are fantastic.
Okay.
Maybe I should become
One of the best.
So tell the YouTube audience, because you guys obviously don't watch, what are you supposed to do at the end of the video?
Look at it.
Oh,
I don't
But
know.
you're supposed to like it.
Like it.
Like it.
You're supposed to.
Oh, actually talk to them.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying, what are we supposed to do?
No, well, you too. Subscribe to the channel.
Right.
Share it.
Subscribe to the channel, like it, share it.
Rate it. Rate it.
You can rate us, don't rate Nuno.
And tell your friends about it.
And tell all of your friends about it.
All of them.
All right. I think this is an awkward ending. We're done.